With a 20-year reputation for clean business, Matt Glynn at Code Property Group is the first choice for real estate on the Sunshine Coast and surrounding areas. I've known Matt for a very long time from a personal level and professional level, and he is an excellent real estate agent. He's professional, he holds a high level of integrity, he presents incredibly well, and has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to the real estate industry. So if you are in the market to buy, sell, or simply get a valuation and find out more about your current property, then give Matt a call on 0404 315 066 or matt.glynn, GLYNN at codepg.com. You won't be disappointed. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. It's a beautiful Friday morning. It's cold, but the sun is out, the sky is blue, and there's a lot of gratitude simply because of where we live and what we have. And I think that's a great message to start this podcast on. Now, today's episode, I'm going to chat about making yourself bulletproof. Now, the point of this episode is to not only sort of bring up existing topics that I've covered in the 166 episodes I've done so far, but to sort of, I guess, reinstate the importance of these things. It's something that will probably continue to be overlooked and taken for granted for years and years and years to come. And potentially, before we get through multiple generations, will there be a much more primary focus on making yourself bulletproof. But firstly, what do I mean by making ourselves bulletproof? How do we do that? Because, that term alone means you're indestructible. Well, that's not necessarily the case, but you can be proactive in your approach to make your body and your mind significantly stronger. Okay, that is without a doubt a possibility. That is without a doubt something that can be achieved. And through years and years and years of research and science, you can do that. Like you can let's get specific here. You can bulletproof your knees. You can bulletproof your hips. You can bulletproof your shoulders. You can bulletproof your mind. Your body can be more defensive against illness and disease simply through the improvement of your overall health. And I'm not talking things that are ridiculously complicated or processes that are ridiculously complicated. I'm just talking about the basics. I'm talking about things like regular strength training, like good nutrition. And I know you're probably going to roll your eyes and go, oh God, this again. But it's true. That's the thing. It is actually true. It is actual fact that if you do regular strength training, because think about it, what does strength training provide? Okay, let's break this down. It provides, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously muscle mass, right? It improves your overall strength. So your ability to be stronger, but also the lean tissue that you carry. Now, that lean tissue, by design, covers your skeletal system, it covers your organs, it protects your body. So it acts as effectively a defensive mechanism as well as, your ability to be strong in everything that you do. So the more tissue you've got on your body, the stronger you are, the more defensive you can be. And I'm not talking about size. This is the thing that people get confused about. We're not talking about getting massive in terms of your appearance. We're talking about the density of the muscle, the thickness of the muscle, the quality of the muscle. You don't have to train to get bigger, but you do need to train to get better, to get stronger, and to be better in terms of being bulletproof. That's something that I think is a significantly important thing that people tend to get confused about because they think weight training, they think strength training, they think, oh, I'm going to get massive, I'm going to look like a man, I'm going to put on all this muscle. No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the quality of muscle that you carry, particularly into the later years of life. Muscle mass and strength training provides longevity. It provides health. It provides a sustainable, long-term solution to providing or preventing disease, preventing weakness, preventing a deficit in energy. Like it does so much. I cannot emphasize that enough. So making yourself bulletproof. It also um, enhances your mental health. Like, it actually helps with mental health. It's been proven that every time you do a gym training session, you walk out feeling vindicated, satisfied, happy, and all of a sudden, all these endorphins come running through your body. Your serotonin levels are up, your dopamine is high, and that makes you feel amazing for the rest of the day. So your mental health is improved through that. And imagine if you do that multiple times a week. If someone who might be a little bit on the depressed side or the sad side or just struggling from time to time, I guarantee you get yourself into the gym and do that on a regular basis, your mental health is going to improve significantly. Therefore, you're going to create that bulletproof approach to not only your body, but your mind as well. And then we obviously roll into nutrition. Now, nutrition, we know. I often say this to my clients: nutrition is nature's medicine. Before there was antibiotics, before there was pharmaceuticals, anything like that, the way human beings protected themselves from illness, disease, and things like that was through good nutrition. With the knowledge they had. And good nutrition is so simple. It is so simple, and I'm not saying by any means or any stretch of the imagination that you have to eat ridiculously clean. And look, if you choose to do that, great, all the power to you. But it's about balance, right? It's about consistency and balance. If you eat your regular serving of fruit, your regular serving of vegetables, your lean protein, your good fats, and I'm not going down the calorie path in this discussion. It's purely from a disease and illness preventative measure. You're going to be so much more healthier. Therefore, your immune system is going to be stronger, your defenses are going to be stronger, and the potential to defend off colds and flus and illness and potentially COVID, things like this is higher because your immune barrier is stronger simply because you are healthier. And that goes back to my original point too. If you're exercising regularly, your heart rate, your cardiovascular system is improved, your strength is improved, all these things, along with quality nutrition where you're getting the ultimate level of vitamins and minerals. Well, guess what? Chances of you getting sick have significantly decreased. We've just gone through a massive bout of illness through this most recent winter where heaps of people are getting influenza, colds, flus, COVID, gastro, all these things. That there is the possibility that you can prevent getting that simply through what you eat and how much you exercise. Now, the third wheel or the third cog in this wheel is sleep. I've got a post coming out. I think it's scheduled for later this week, maybe tomorrow, about sleep and how important it is. We take it for granted. Look, we're in a lifestyle or a community or a world or however you want to phrase it now, where we tend to sacrifice sleep because we have to grind, we have to hustle, we have to make money, we have to work big days, we have to work long hours. We've got to get up earlier. And yes, I get that. Like, there's so many hours in the day, and you've got to fit stuff in. I get it. Like, for me, I'm like most of this week, I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm at work before 5, and I don't get home usually until 6. So they're big days for me. I get it. So I'm part of this discussion, and I'll openly admit that. But I'm also aware of the importance of sleep and what it does for the body, what it does for recovery, what it does for energy, and what it does for your overall health. If you are constantly running on less than adequate sleep, you're more susceptible to catching a cold. You're more susceptible to getting sick. You're more susceptible to getting run down. You're more susceptible to injury. This is a fact. So if you can put together good nutrition, regular exercise, and good sleep, guess what that equates to? You're effectively making yourself bulletproof. If there's consistency in those three things, you are making yourself bulletproof. And yes, look, you're not invincible, right? We're not Iron Man. We're not, although Iron Man did die at the end of Endgame. You're not someone who isn't susceptible. Like, we're not Superman. It's a case that you are making these measures, you're putting these things in place to be more preventative, to be more to avoid or be stronger and optimal in a space where sickness is a common thing. So, by putting the best foot forward and having a plan and prioritizing your health, I think that's probably the key statement here is prioritizing your health. Because again, and I know this firsthand because I work with a lot of people over a number of years, people don't prioritize themselves. They don't prioritize their health. They put themselves last. They make sure everyone else is looked after first. They make sure their work comes before their own health. And you end up getting run down. You end up getting sick. You end up getting an injury. These are common things that occur, and they occur often. And I'm sure there's people listening to this go, oh, God, I'm sick again. It comes around once a year, twice a year. Who gets sick in summer? Like, how frustrating is that? It's 30 degrees outside and you catch a cold. Like, isn't that annoying? Isn't that just ridiculous? But it happens. It's not always determined on the weather. It's determined on how susceptible you are to catching a cold. And if you can make yourself more bulletproof, then why don't you? Why wouldn't you? And the ironic thing is, it's so easy to do. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Like a gym membership's what, $15 a week? You eat anyway, so why not tidy up your diet? You sleep anyway. You've just got to get more time and make sure it's deeper sleep. These things are fairly accessible. They're very easy to do. They're very logical. We just have to do them. And unfortunately, we don't at the moment due to obviously other circumstances and things like that. But, avoiding injury, avoiding disease, avoiding illness. And then the other one, I guess, that falls into this category too, the strength training, the nutrition, the sleep, is stress. Stress, I've learned that over the years, and I've seen this firsthand, stress has such a pragmatic and pivotal role in our day-to-day thinking, our day-to-day activity, our day-to-day energy, and whether or not we get sick often or not. Stress is toxic. Stress is, I would actually classify stress as a disease. Not that it's a disease that you catch, but it effectively has a similar impact on the body and the mind as many other diseases can. And it's simply because, stress impacts our nervous system in a way that our walls come down in terms of our defense, our energy levels decline, our mental health is significantly impacted. We make poor decisions under stress, so our emotional and cognitive ability to think clearly is significantly impacted as well. Our anxiety is higher, therefore we're breathing poorly. Think of all those things, and that's all due to stress. And it's whether stress is work-related, financial, personal, relationship, kids, doesn't matter. So managing stress, as easy as that sounds, I know it's ridiculously hard because I've been through multiple periods of high stress and high anxiety over my 46 years on this planet, but probably more so the last 30 being an adult. And it's easier said than done to manage it. It really is. But there are simple things that you can do to control it better. And obviously one of them is going to the gym. Because at the end of the day, stress is energy, right? It's a negative energy that gets built up. It heightens your adrenals. It heightens your heart rate. It makes your breathing shorter. So how can you expend that energy? You go to the gym. But the ironic thing is, when you're under stress and when you're anxious, you don't want to go to the gym. You feel like crawling up into a ball or, getting on the couch and watching a TV show. You don't feel like going and exercising. But ironically, if you exercise, the negative energy that has built up within you can be turned around and put into a positive light and distributed to a great training session. Some of the best sessions I've done have been when I've walked in the gym and I've been telling myself, and it's not a great idea to do this, but I've been telling myself, man, I don't feel like being here. I don't want to do this. But I've made myself go, and then I've walked out going, my God, how good was that? That was a brilliant session. I'm so glad that I went. And then driving home, I'm really, really satisfied in the fact that I made myself go. They're sometimes the best sessions you can have because you've got all this anxious, nervous, ridiculous energy that has no outlet. So go to the gym. If you can't go to the gym, go for a walk. These things are an outlet that we don't utilize enough of. And we tend to make a lot of excuses. And I see that firsthand where, it's too cold outside, I'm not going for a walk. It's too cold, it's dark, I'm not going to the gym. I'm going to sleep in or get an extra hour sleep. And look, I get that, and that might be okay, depending on your circumstance. And again, this podcast and how I operate as a coach needs to be very customized. Every single individual on this planet is different, and their approach needs to be different. But for the broad topic of this conversation, we need to be very much aware that exercise can be incredibly beneficial to manage so many things. Like the list is endless in regards to exercise. It goes on and on and on in terms of the benefits. So why is this people not doing it more? it fascinates me when we know factually through evidence, through science, that exercise can have a significant impact on your current health, but also your future health. To make yourself bulletproof now means you're making yourself bulletproof in 20, 30, 40 years' time. Like I look at my parents, and God love them, but they're both very fragile. They've both got joint and mobility issues. They're both taking, like, I don't know, 20 tablets a day to keep their health in check. You don't need to do that. You really don't need to do that when you can set yourself up 20 years, 30 years prior to that sort of age bracket and make yourself more bulletproof and keep yourself strong and keep yourself mobile and run around with your grandkids and be an active grandparent and an active parent and an active member of the community. So, it's again, it's something I've spoken about a lot, and I will continue to do so because through repetition of the message, things will start to sink in, right? And people listening to this might go, "Oh, well, he's talking about the same thing again." But sometimes you have to rehash old information in a different light for it to sink in. It's the importance of messaging and the importance of teaching and coaching. But I think just to rehash and touch base one more time on these topics and how important they are. If you're not a member of the gym, there are ways to get into the gym firstly, and secondly, integrate yourself in a way that's comfortable. I know it can be intimidating, and I know weight training can be intimidating, but remove the ideology around the fact that you're going to get massive really quickly. That doesn't happen, okay? Trust me, as a natural bodybuilder, it is ridiculously hard to get big quickly unless there's enhancements involved. So remove that from the thinking. Secondly, embrace weight training because it is going to make you so bulletproof. And if you want to improve physique, if you want that quote unquote toned look, then you have to lift weight. Cardio is not going to do it for you. I've got nothing against cardio. If you want to improve your cardiovascular system, if you want to run better, run faster, not be out of breath when you climb mountains and ride a bike, then great, do some cardio. But if you want to improve your physique, if you want to get stronger, if you want to improve your density, improve your joint mobility, improve your joint strength, prevent yourself from getting sick as often, improve your mental health, then weight training is the path you need to take. Nutrition, you don't have to go from 0 to 100 and try and, improve your nutrition significantly. History shows that people struggle with significant change in a very short space of time. So slowly but surely over the course of several weeks, just integrate different approaches that are going to make sure that your nutrition is better. It doesn't have to be an overnight thing. It doesn't even have to be done in a week. It may take you several weeks to actually make those changes. But think of any habit that you've got. It's taken a long time to integrate that habit into your lifestyle where it becomes that habit and you don't even think about it. So nutrition is no different. And then sleep and stress. If there's ways to improve it, please improve it. If you can improve your sleep. Now, research has shown that blue light before bed can have such a negative impact on the quality of sleep that you have. Have you ever woken up in the morning, your alarm goes off, and you go, "Oh my God, I could sleep for another couple of hours." But when you've had those great night's sleeps where you've woken up and you're going, "How refreshed do I feel?" They're the ones you want to experience more of. So removing blue light can have a profound impact on your REM cycle and your REM sleep, which is, your deep sleep. So don't look at your phone before bed. Try to avoid blue light, 45 minutes before you're due to go to bed. And then just make sure your environment is really comfortable as well. We take it for granted, we just think the bed is the bed and that's it. But it needs to be comfortable. It needs to be warm. It needs to be inviting. It needs to entice you to go into sleep pretty much as soon as you put your head on the pillow. If it's uncomfortable, if it's not inviting, if it's not a good environment, well, you're going to have a restless night's sleep and continue to do so. So there may be some changes that you need to make. Make sure the room is dark. Make sure the temperature is good. All these things are so obvious, yet we overlook them. So when they're pointed out, you kind of go, okay, yeah, I can do this. So yeah, sleep is, I cannot understate how important it is for recovery as well. If you're going to take up strength training, or if you're a regular strength trainer already, but your recovery is a little bit poor, maybe it is your sleep. because sleep is profound. And not to mention your body, but your mind too. Like if you have a highly stressful job or just a very demanding job where you have to think for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, you've got to get sleep to recover your brain and your mind. Otherwise, that stress will be there the next day and the next day and the next day, and then you're trying to play catch up. So, yeah, it's a significantly important thing that again we take for granted. So, I think I've got the point across, and I hope this doesn't come across as a rant because I know I can get ranty on these things, but it comes from a place of passion, right? Because I know, and because I've seen it firsthand, because I've experienced all this firsthand, I just want people to embrace a change in lifestyle that will further enhance and advance their ability to have a wonderful life. Let's make it. Can you imagine what the country would be like if it was bulletproof? If the majority of the population were bulletproof, we'd be disease free, we'd be illness free, there'd be less colds, so therefore there'd be less days off work, we'd be more efficient, we'd be more productive, so we're getting more done, we're managing our time better, there's more energy, people are more healthy, the gyms are packed, everyone's walking. Like it would be utopia. It really would. So I'd love to see that one day. I don't think I will in my lifetime, but we can always dream. All right, thank you once again for tuning in. I do appreciate the support. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please screenshot and share it on your stories. Please tag anybody that you believe may benefit from listening to it. I really do enjoy these podcasts. I really enjoy sharing my knowledge to those that listen, and it's a great opportunity because it's a free platform. You don't have to pay for it. So yeah, I'll continue to do this as long as I've got topics to talk about. If you have something you would love me to discuss, and I'll obviously do that anonymously if that's the way you want to do it, please share it, send me a DM, send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to do that. In terms of my coaching services, please jump on my website, paulsbodyengineering.com. You think I'd get it right after 10 years. And have a look there. Alternatively, I've got it all in the links in my bio of my Instagram, or just shoot me a DM and ask the question. But aside from that, it's a beautiful Friday, so I'm going to get out in the sun, and I hope you do the same. Thank you once again, and as I say to every client, every single day, have a great day. Experience the difference with Matt Glynn at Code Property Group. With a 20-year reputation of a clean business, Matt is your guy when it comes to all things real estate. Make sure you give him a call now on 0404 315 066.